Gratuity. Disclaimer: this training material is for use in training of officials. It should not be referred to the guideline of government. In case of any variance in this training material, the government guidelines, rules, laws shall prevail. What do we mean by the term gratuity? Gratuity is the portion of salary that is paid after a fixed period in return of the services of the employee. It is a form of acknowledgment given to an employee for the services that he or she has rendered. Gratuity amount depends upon the tenure of service and last pay drawn. For government employees, rupees 20 lakh is the maximum amount. Nomination. The family member can be nominated to receive the gratuity: wife in respect of male government servant, husband in respect of the female government servant, son, unmarried daughter, widowed daughter, father, mother, brother below 18 years, unmarried or widowed sister, married daughter, children of predeceased son. When there is no family member as mentioned above, the government servant can nominate anybody, including a body or trust. If nominee is minor, payment of the minor share of death or retirement gratuity is to be made to the natural guardian of the minor, and in the absence of a natural guardian, to the person who furnishes a guardianship certificate. Where no valid nomination subsists, share of minor sons or minor unmarried daughters, surviving parent, except in the case when the surviving parent happens to be a Muslim lady. Where, however, there is no surviving parent or the surviving parent is a Muslim lady, payment will have to be made to the person producing the guardianship certificate. When a share is payable to a widowed minor daughter, production of a guardian certificate would be necessary. If, in a rare case, the wife herself happens to be a minor, the death or retirement gratuity payable to her shall be paid to the person producing the guardianship certificate. Case where a valid nomination subsists, where the nomination is in respect of one or more of the members of the family, the position stated earlier would apply. Where there is no family members, if the nominee is an illegitimate child, the share will be payable to the mother, and in her absence, the production of a guardianship certificate would be necessary. If the share is payable to a married minor girl, the share will be payable to the husband. The payment of death gratuity in respect of a minor to the extent of 20% or rupees 1.5 lakh, whichever is less, may be paid to his or her guardian. In the absence of natural guardian, without the production of a formal guardianship certificate, but subject to the production of an indemnity bond with suitable sureties. The balance in excess of 20% or rupees 1.5 lakhs, as the case may be, would become payable on the production of a certificate of guardianship. It is essential, however, that there should be adequate prima facie grounds for making such payment to the person claiming it. Such ground can exist only if he is shown by a declaration to be a de facto guardian and his bona fides have been ascertained. Even if a guardian has not yet been appointed by the court, if the minor and his property are in the custody of some person, such person is in law a de facto guardian. The authorities making the payment should satisfy themselves by a form that he is in charge of the property of the minor and is looking after it, or that if the minor has no property other than the gratuity, the minor is in his custody and care. The form so to be produced is in addition to the indemnity bond with suitable sureties. Format of indemnity bond is shown on the screen. gratuity payment for divorcee. If the deceased employee was a divorcee without an issue, the gratuity shall be payable to other members of the family, but no family pension will be paid. If no nomination is made, where the individual dies without nominating anybody but has left family members, the gratuity is payable in the following manner to the family. If there are one or more surviving members of the family, it shall be paid in equal shares to all such members. 5. In respect of male government servant, husband; in respect of female government servant, son and unmarried daughters. If there are no such surviving members of the family as mentioned in the previous slide, but equal share will be payable to widowed daughters, father, mother, brother below 18 years, unmarried or widowed sister, married daughters, and children of predeceased son. If the individual has not filed any nomination and is not survived by any of the person mentioned in the previous slides, then gratuity will be payable to a person who makes a claim along with a succession certificate obtained from a court of law. Nomination and succession certificate. Only the nominee as per the nomination is entitled to receive the gratuity, and the person included in the succession certificate is not eligible unless there is a court decree or order with the government implemented in the suit. Tax on gratuity. Since a government employee receives gratuity as their retirement, death or pension, hence it is not taxed. Types of gratuity. Gratuity are of three types: retirement gratuity, death gratuity, service gratuity, residuary gratuity. Retirement gratuity. Retirement gratuity is a gratuity payable to the retiring government servant. It is admissible to the government servant who has rendered minimum 5 years of qualifying service, and eligibility to receive service gratuity or pension is essential to get this one-time lump sum benefit. Formula for calculating retirement gratuity. Retirement gratuity is equal to 1/4 into emoluments. Emolument means pay plus DA plus NPA if NPA is payable for each 6 months of qualifying service. The most important thing is that emoluments are drawn on the date of retirement. Minimum and maximum limit. There is no minimum limit for retirement gratuity. The maximum limit for retirement gratuity is 16 times of emoluments or rupees 20 lakhs, whichever is less. Death gratuity. This is a one-time lump sum benefit payable to the nominee or family member of a government servant dying in harness. There is condition of any minimum length of service rendered by the deceased employee. Death gratuity in case of suicide. The death gratuity benefits are also available to the family members of a deceased government servant who committed suicide. Calculation of death gratuity. If qualifying service is less than 1 year, rate will be 2 times of emoluments. 1 year or more but less than 5 years, 6 times of emolument. 5 year or more but less than 11 years, 12 times of emoluments. 11 years or more but less than 20 years, 20 times of emoluments. 20 years or more, half of emoluments for every completed 6 monthly period of qualifying service, subject to a maximum of 33 times of emolument. Emoluments are drawn on the date of death. Minimum and maximum limit. There is no minimum limit for death gratuity. The maximum limit for gratuity is rupees 20 lakhs. Retirement or death gratuity when whereabouts of government servant not known. The retirement or death gratuity benefits are also available after 1 year of date of FIR to the family members of the missing government servant. FIR must be lodged. An indemnity bond should be taken from the nominee, dependents of the employee, that all the payment will be adjusted against the payment due to the employee in case he appears on the scene and makes any claim. In case the disbursement of death or retirement gratuity is not effected within 3 months of the date of application, the interest shall be paid at the rates applicable and responsibility for the delay fixed. Death gratuity will also be payable to the families, but not exceeding the amount which would have been payable as retirement gratuity if the person had retired. The difference between retirement gratuity and death gratuity shall be subsequently payable after the death is conclusively established or on the expiry of 7 years period from the date of missing. Service gratuity. A government servant who retired on rendering less than 10 years of qualifying service is not eligible for pension but is eligible for service gratuity in lieu of the pension. It is a one-time lump sum payment paid over and above the retirement gratuity. Formula for calculating service gratuity is shown on the screen. Minimum and maximum limit. There is no minimum limit. The maximum limit is rupees 20 lakhs. Residuary gratuity. When a government servant who has become eligible for a service gratuity or pension dies within 5 years from the date of retirement from service, including compulsory retirement, he will get a residuary gratuity. The sums received by him at the time of death on account of pension or service gratuity, including ad hoc increase, if any, together with the retirement gratuity and commutation values are less than the amount of equal to 12 times of emoluments. A residuary gratuity equal to the deficiency may be granted to the family of deceased government servant. Lapse of gratuity in case of no nomination. Where a government employee dies while in service or after retirement without receiving the gratuity amount, and if has no family or has not made nomination or there is no subsistence nomination, the gratuity due will be lapsed to the government. Payment of gratuity in case departmental proceeding is pending. Gratuity shall not be withheld in respect of a government employee who has been permitted to retire pending departmental or judicial proceedings against him, where such proceedings are only the administrative lapses not involving any pecuniary loss to a government. Interest for belated payment of gratuity. If the payment of gratuity is delayed beyond 3 months from the date of retirement, interest at the rate applicable to the GPF deposit is payable to the pensioner. Once it has been decided to pay gratuity, the amount should be paid immediately pending a decision regarding payment of interest. In case the gratuity is withheld. In respect of cases instituted, gratuity is withheld at conclusion of disciplinary proceedings. If a government servant is exonerated of all the charges and where gratuity is paid on conclusion of such proceedings and payment is made beyond 3 months from the date of retirement, interest shall be allowed. In case where the government servant is not fully exonerated on conclusion of disciplinary proceedings and if the payment is delayed, in such cases, interest shall be allowed for the period of delay beyond 3 months from the date of issue of orders by competent authority following payment of gratuity. Attachment by court. Gratuity cannot be attached by court. Payment of gratuity for employees covered under NPS. Benefits of retirement gratuity, death gratuity has been extended to central government employees covered under NPS. In case of mobility of employees covered under NPS, on mobility from one central government service to another central government service, the service rendered in the previous department shall be counted for the purpose of gratuity. There shall be no sharing of liability of gratuity between two departments of central government. Withholding of gratuity. There is no provision for withholding any part of gratuity at the time of retirement for the purpose of recovery of outstanding government dues other than those pertaining to government accommodation. The HOD is required to complete assessment of such dues 8 months prior to the date of retirement. Payment of gratuity. In case service record is incomplete, if the deceased government servant had, at the time of death, rendered more than 5 years but less than 20 years of qualifying service, and the spell of last 5 years service has been verified, the death gratuity shall be equal to 12 times of deceased government servant emoluments, but the maximum limit is ₹20 lakh. Where the verified and accepted service is less than 5 years of qualifying service, the amount of death gratuity shall be equal to twice for less than 1 year service, or 6 times for more than 1 year and less than 5 years of service of his emoluments. The maximum limit is ₹20 lakh. If the deceased government servant had rendered more than 20 years of service, but the service for the last 5 years has been verified, the family of the deceased government servant shall be allowed a provisional death gratuity equal to 12 times of emoluments. Again, the limit is ₹20 lakh. Final amount of the gratuity shall be determined by the HOD on the basis of entire spell of service, which may be verified within a period of 6 months from the date on which the authority for the payment of provisional gratuity was issued. The balance amount shall be payable to the family. Debarring a person from receiving gratuity. If a person who in the event of death of a government servant while in service is eligible to receive gratuity is charged with the offence of murdering the government servant or for abetting in the commission of such an offence, his claim to receive his share of gratuity shall remain suspended till the conclusion of the criminal proceedings instituted against him. If on the conclusion of the criminal proceedings the person concerned is convicted for the murder or abetting in the murder of government servant, he shall be debarred from receiving his share of gratuity, which shall be payable to other eligible members of the family, if any. If the concerned person is acquitted of the charge of murdering or abetting in the murder of the government servant, his share of gratuity shall be payable to him. Payment of gratuity in case of lunatic person. Lunatic person must be certified by a magistrate to be lunatic. Amount will be paid to the person having charge of the lunatic person. Surplus, if any, will be paid for the maintenance of such members of the lunatic family as are dependent on him for maintenance. Let us understand the gratuity calculation with an example. Suppose the date of birth of an employee is 10th January 1959. His date of commencement of service is 10th April 1981. Date of retirement is 31st January 2019. So the qualifying service is from 10th April 1981 to 31st January 2019. Qualifying services 37 years, 9 months and 21 days. Non-qualifying services 0. and the last pay drawn by the employee is basic pay plus special pay if any, personal pay if any, plus DA. So let the total last pay drawn is 8,601. Therefore, maximum service restricted to gratuity calculation is 66 half years. So the gratuity admissible is 8601 multiplied by 1/4 of total half years, that is 8601 multiplied by 66 divided by 4. So the gratuity will be rupees 1,41,917. In this video, we have understood about the gratuity. If you have any doubt or want any clarification, then you can contact through the mail shown on the screen. For other videos and rules and regulations, you can visit the web address. Thank you.